we'll have a moment of silence to think about the 6,147,582 cases of coronavirus and the 370,460 who have died. But this morning, we also need to give a thought for Black America, who finally had enough. We who are not Black Americans don't know fully what it's like for them. And my heart goes out to them all, especially the family of Gerald Floyd. Tēnā koutou te whānau o Auckland Unitarians. Tēnā koutou nā manahiri. No mai, haramai ki tēnei hui, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora,
Kia ora, Clay.
Kia ora. Kia ora, Clay.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
We welcome you this morning. We know you're coming for different reasons, to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find answers to some of your bigger questions. We welcome. We know you come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, different backgrounds. We hope you will find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. We hope you will find a way to provide outreach to others in our congregation, in our local community, and in our world community. Now come, let us worship together. May just seeing each other's faces this morning give us shelter. May this Zoom community break through our loneliness. And may we feel the embrace of a larger spirit of life and love. For a candle, it's time to have our virtual chalice lighting. The chalice lit amongst us is a beacon of hope in a world in crisis, a beacon of mutual acceptance as revealed in our diverse ways of being, a beacon of possibility made manifest in community, a beacon of warmth through our interconnections, a beacon of light, illuminating our shared wisdom, a beacon of connection by our being together. In deciding what to muse on this week, I just need to take a moment to reflect on what is happening around me. The first thing I noticed was the brouhaha surrounding Todd Muller's first week as opposition leader. First, there was the Make America Great Again hat that he doggedly defended displaying in his office as just some political swag, a souvenir. He was apparently oblivious to it's being a malevolent symbol promoting racism, nativism, xenophobia, anti-science, and gross misogyny. as being okay, at least for white supremacists. Mueller might as well have decorated his office with swastikas and a Klan hood. The next misstep was his announcement of his front bench and shadow cabinet. The media immediately noticed the lack of diversity there. When his deputy, Nikki Kay, defended those chosen by Mueller by insisting Paul Goldsmith was Maori, which Paul quickly denied, the story grew legs. His voting record and past statements suggest, at the least, he is a dinosaur, but by all reports, a decent one, similar perhaps to Barney. If so, what could account for his lack of political nous in his first week? It is not like he's new to politics. One theory is it's due to something that is not really his fault. He is pale, stale, and male, commonly known as PSM. As someone who is a year more stale today than yesterday, and as pale and male as they come, I can empathize with the affliction. My musings led me to seeing what the internet thought of PSMs. As you might suspect, it's not very flattering. We are the internet's equivalent. We are in the internet's equivalent of the stocks being pummeled with rotten produce. In fact, it is so unflattering that one 20-something feminist opinion writer for Stuff News, Verity Johnson, feels sorry for us, or at least some of us. She acknowledges her ambivalence. There are PSMs in her life who have mentored her, who email her letters of support, who are interested in her ideas. And there are PSMs she puts in the Piers Morgan camp, who hate her guts. She says, you can usually tell because they're the sort of person who's angry at the world anyway, but as a young, articulate woman, you're a red flag to their misplaced rage. They don't, according to her experience, like to be challenged on anything, but really hate it when a young woman who does it, when a young woman does it, largely because they're carrying a whole lot of delightful beliefs on women, which mostly revolve around us being shaggable and silent. I took some comfort in her conclusion, but being both an object of hatred and support by PSMs, I'm sorry, that's not clear. This is her conclusion, but being both an object of hatred and support by PSMs has taught me anything, it's being middle-aged or white or a man is not a good indicator of whether or not you're a dick. One of the most reliable measures I've found is how you respond to people questioning or challenging you. Side note, this works for men and women. I appreciate her recognition that dicks are available in all colors, are not age restricted, and are not Y chromosome dependent. Margaret Thatcher quickly comes to mind. On the other hand, Verity's conclusion that how PSMs respond to being questioned and challenged is, in my mind, an insufficient measure of being a dick. If a PSM does not confront the three Ps, the power, privilege, and patriarchy that have advantaged him literally over everyone else, and is happy and without embarrassment to accept the benefits they provide him as being divinely ordained by virtue of his personal qualities and hard work, he will score high on the Dick scale. His Dick measurement takes on a whole new meaning in this context. These PSMs are all too often myopic. This is a serious problem, as they are all too often the ones holding the power. Many see no problem writing legislation to block a woman's right to have control of her body. They see profit as more important than the environment. They consider labor to be an expendable commodity to be exploited on behalf of shareholders. Some don't seem to have any empathy, but plenty of contempt for those whose lives are destroyed by the corrupt and unjust economic system they created. The only cure is diversity. For at least the first third of my life, every aspect of society was under the control of PSMs. Legislative bodies, CEOs, corporate boards, churches, the news media, the judicial system, unions, higher education institutions, all look like National's front bench or Trump's cabinet. Every time a woman or person of color broke or even cracked the glass ceiling during the last 2/3 of my life, that was headline news. When PSMs couldn't deny a woman or person of color a place at the table, the women were dismissed, mocked, and undermined. PSMs can still do it with impunity because they still hold the most power. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg is asked, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? She says, when there are 9. People are shocked, but there have been 9 men and nobody's ever raised a question about that, she goes on to say. Perhaps things will change after the pandemic. After all, the countries that did the best job of managing their country's response to the virus were all led by women, who were mostly young. Even before the world changed forever, companies were already being encouraged to have more diverse boards of directors. In a risk management article on PSMs, it opened with this observation. On the surface, the circumstances surrounding scandals by Equifax, Wells Fargo, the Weinstein Company, Uber, Volkswagen, Wynn Resorts, and others could not seem any more different. Upon deeper analysis, however, a common thread in each of these cases could offer insights for companies to avoid future problems. At the time of these corporate failures, the board of each company lacked diversity and was unable or unwilling to fully understand the gamut of their non-financial, environmental, social, and governance issues, risks, and opportunities. The article goes on to say, recent research has underscored the strong relationship that exists between diversity among leadership and ethical behavior and superior resilience and long-term profitable sustainability. For example, the January 2018 McKinsey & Company report, Delivering Through Diversity, found a continuing strong link between diversity and performance. Companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on their executive teams were 21% more likely to have above average profitability than companies in the fourth quartile. In terms of ethnic and cultural diversity, top quartile companies were 33% more likely to outperform their peers on profitability. My takeaway from this article is that companies run by dicks underperform. That would be true as well of governments, religious institutions, unions, NGOs, schools, sports teams, to name some of the obvious. Diversity that is sought and respected, not just tolerated, will go far in helping us navigate a world that has become a lot more dangerous than we thought possible. Amen and namaste. Okay, it's time for breakout rooms, and your question for conversation is, when were you the voice of diversity? Think of one time, maybe. How did you feel expressing your views? And how was it received? We'll give you about 20 minutes for this. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together
again.
For my closing words, go now in peace, deeply regard each other, truly listen to each other, speak what each of you must speak. Be ready in any moment to disarm your own heart, and always live as if a realm of love had begun. So be it. Blessed be.